Okay, we're gonna go and start. Joseph Bryan is outside. He's on his way in. The first part of the program is something that I do anyway. And since this is just mayoral candidates, then we can give our moderators time to get adjusted because I have to do my thing anyway.
Well, hold on a second before you start so I can.
Okay. Now, don't do me like Olivia. Don't do me like us, man. We don't have my mouth, my mouth is running, there ain't so no word that I say. I have to get this pad and desk up here, somebody there listen to. So she owns it. So we want to thank you for coming out. This is,
hold on a second, hold on. I'm sorry,
I'm just talking. It's an overwhelming response to, we had a press conference yesterday to say that, I mean, somebody with a phone can help me out. That I don't know whether it was coincidence or conspiracy. I wanted to look up the word coincidence. Jeremy, can you help me with that? No, I just want you to look up what a coincidence is so I can write that down so I can define it. But I have been around for some time and I've never seen the lack of coverage in these forums, particularly mayoral forums in the city of Birmingham. I've never seen the certain people like the League of Women Voters cancel their forum. So, yeah, and others, you know, I've never seen it not be on TV and TV stations not having. And that's what we were saying yesterday. But my position, as I said before, is that anybody has the right not to come. But to do whatever may be being done to try to stop the people from being able to hear others who want to come. That's right. Is not cool. That's right. So right. I appreciate y'all responding to this. A big round of applause. Y'all have to forgive me. If I would know how y'all was coming, I would have dressed up. I didn't feel like changing clothes. So forgive me. So we're gonna get started because what we're gonna do, this is a mayoral forum that's being presented by the Committee to Save Birmingham, the Black Contractors Association, the Fraternal Order of Police, and the retirees, city retirees. And what we do first is that we have taken a different tack to this. We are not asking people questions and hear what they have to say. We have developed an agenda that we would first like to talk to the candidates about, if that's cool with them, and let them speak to our agenda. And when I say our agenda, it's our agenda because these are things that is incumbent upon us to do. Not that we asking somebody else, will you do this, or will you do that? This is what we plan on doing. So if we can just begin, the first thing on our agenda that I want to discuss with you, candidates, about, thank you all for your comment and your patience, is that we are in favor of having the disparity study implemented. The city of Birmingham has done 2 different disparity studies, but they have never implemented the solutions that the people who did the disparity study suggested. So we would like to see that the disparity study is implemented. So we'll begin on this with Brother Kamal. Would you speak to that, whatever you want to say to that?
Sure. Thank you, Brother William, and thank you all for attending.
Oh, okay. Oh, y'all do, I forgot. Oh, my bad. Everybody introduce yourself real quick, you know, I'm out of place. This was
Okay. I'm Kamal Africa, candidate for Mayor Smithfield, Ladies and Boys.
We don't have one that one, right? Okay.
I'm Kamal Africa, Smithfield, raised and born. I think I'm very fortunate to be here. Thank you.
My name is Jeremy Littlepage. I'm 26 years old. I'm making history right now, and I love to tell the truth about the city, and that's all I'm gonna do tonight.
And if you don't mind, you please stay seated, because the cameraman has just asked that, that makes sense.
Good evening, everyone. I'm LaShonda Scales. I represented as a city council member for District 1, which is this area, for 9 consecutive years. I am currently the county commissioner for District 1, and it is my pleasure to be here with you tonight.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Brian K. Rice, commercial property owner in Inslee Business Alliance president, background in mechanical engineering. And today is the 70-year anniversary of when I bought my $0 bills. 100% of my equity was erased. We're gonna have a conversation today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Frank Woodson. I've worked in community development for the last 20 years with 3 presidents, 3 governors, 2 mayors. And what Birmingham needs today is the rebuilding of our communities and our economic base. Thank you.
Hey, y'all. How y'all doing?
Right.
Make it make sense, everyone. I am State Representative Wandalyn Lilly-Gavan, and I am going to follow the instructions as prescribed, 15 seconds. I don't know who's counting, but I'll give you the rest at the appropriate time. Thank you for allowing me to be here.
Okay, let's give them all a big round of applause. Okay, so we're gonna start with these questions that I'm asking. This is the Committee to Save Jefferson County Community Agenda 3.1. Because as we've been doing these forums, we find out that people are adding stuff to our agenda because they have things that we hadn't thought about. So we talked about the disparity study. So we want to see the disparity study implemented. What is your thinking on it?
I want you all to know that I had the pleasure of serving with Mayor Bernard Kincaid, and that was a real revolution. And we pushed, I was one of those that pushed for the disparity study because it's $26,000. That's what taxpayers paid for it. So I will go in, that will be one of the many things that I'll do in the first quarter of my administration. We must have this disparity study because there's a lot of despair, as many of us can tell you about, but we don't have to tell you, you can see it yourself. There's a lot of disparity between downtown and this community. You don't even have a grocery store out here. My parents used to live right around the corner. You don't have a movie theater. They had it when they were out here. It was only 3 blacks out here, 3 black families out here at that time. So that'll be one of the things I'll be working on.
Thank you. If you drove here and you crossed one street from another street to another street, you saw the disparities. They not like us. 99 neighborhoods, 23 communities. They not like us. Uptown, downtown, and the south side. They not like us. Yes, we need a disparity study. We've had one before. The realization is, but we are still in despair. They not like us. Potholes, ragged streets, dilapidated housing, overgrown lots, they not like us. As stated, no grocery stores, communities that do not look equal and are not treated equal. They are all in despair. They are not like us. Again, 99 neighborhoods, 23 communities. You drove here, pothole after pothole. Make it make sense, everyone. The realization is that we have been in despair in the city of Birmingham for some time. The question is, what do we do about it? Do we keep being in despair, or do we make a decision for change? Again, they are not like us.
So when I get in office, we're definitely gonna have a disparity study because I'm in the despair.
I live in Kingston neighborhood, and right now, you can clearly see from night and day if you come to Avondale neighborhood or Kingston neighborhood or Woodlawn neighborhood. It's a train tracks dividing South Avondale, and you have the part of Avondale, you know, on the side in Avondale Project. And when you drive around, you can just clearly see the problems, what's going on in the neighborhoods. Because one neighborhood is like 10 times more better looking than the other side of the tracks. And this is a good question, but yes, we will have a disparity study because currently everybody under the current administration tends to leave out a lot of neighborhoods in the city, so we definitely need that.
If I heard you correctly, you said, would you implement the disparity study, is that correct? So let me answer your question, yes. But before you implement a disparity study, which of course I'm looking at you for a purpose, if you don't mind. I understand. So the reason why I want to get a clarification in terms of what you're asking is so that I can intelligently answer your question. That being said, when it comes to a disparity study, we're not just talking about the delivery of services, we're also talking about economic parity. And so I would suggest, as a mayor, that I would want an updated disparity study so that not only can we implement it, I think it needs to be published. Taxpayers pay for everything that is delivered through the city of Birmingham. Why would you commission a study that even the public who you're serving has no knowledge about? So when you begin to implement a study, they have no clue what you're doing. That is going to be the unique difference between myself, the person who is absent that currently represents you, and those who are sitting here at this table. That's why I said I have city experience, county experience, and we're going to be very transparent with how we deliver city services on every level, beginning with economics that also bring about community development services. Thank you.
My thoughts on the disparity study. I've studied both of them, the 2007 document and the 2022 document. Both documents were hidden from the public. I had a chance to get it from an attorney in both situations. In 1976, 1977, African Americans received $276 out of $20 million in contracts. There was a 10-year or 12-year fight from 1977 to 1989, and we averaged about 10% during that period of time. From 1989 to about 2003, we dropped to about 3% on average in contracts with the city of Birmingham. The one thing that stuck out in that disparity study was the amount of African Americans that said, we know we're not going to get to work, but we're gonna go and be the minority contractor for the prime. So they know they are fronts, and that was the thing that he used in there, a statement that he used in there. The other thing about the disparity study, I do believe because of affirmative action, we might not be able to use the disparity study. We have to go back and look at the laws. Because of the affirmative action lawsuits that took place over the last several years, we may not be able to use it. We've lost 20, 30, 40 years of being able to use it. And I'm disappointed in the current administration for not using it and hiding it from the public.
The disparity study is not about blighted neighborhoods. It's not about overgrown lots. It's not about any of that stuff. We've got a study that's about 2 years old. I don't want to study our disparity and despair anymore. It's time to implement the recommendations from the study. What do we know to be true? A couple of administrations ago, we were number 50 out of 50 MSA as far as economic participation. Under this administration, we are now number 53 in the nation of big metropolitan statistical areas as far as Black participation. The purpose of the disparity study has to do with economic inclusion for black families and black businesses. We don't need to study that anymore unless we absolutely have to, preparing for the lawsuits that might come. But we're gonna let the data inform us. If you got a hungry child, feed them. If you got hungry businesses, feed them.
15.
Now let me say this, is it 2 minutes or not? It says 2 minutes, are we not doing 2 minutes?
Yeah, go ahead, continue, I got a clock, go ahead, continue.
Yes, because all right, so I got a minute left.
Come on.
If we're going to be serious about it, there's no ta-da, there's no big announcement. You follow the data and make sure the last part of the civil rights movement was economic inclusion. I know we've run off and it was popular to do DEI and all that's cool, but our folks bled and died for economic inclusion for our families and for our business. And one of the first things I'm gonna do is make sure that our families are included in this economy by redistributing more than $600 million of property back to the people. That's economic inclusion, and we're gonna have black contractors doing the work to get those houses back into the market. That is what you do with a disparity study, and that is economic inclusion, what folks bled and died for. Thank you.
We're gonna have an announcement by our moderator, but before we do that, I gotta say this. The disparity study is the law. It's based on Richmond versus Croson. And no president can come in with no executive order and change the law. That Richmond versus Croson calls for you to show that a disparity exists before you develop programs to remedy that disparity. All right, so we're gonna hear from Ms. Luke for 1 second, and then we'll hurry and wrap this up. So, you ready, Sheila? Your announcement?
Yes, I am. Good evening, candidates. It's good to be here. We're going to continue on. Mr. Muhammad is going to give you the agenda as he started the disparity study with your first question. There will be additional questions up to 10, and he will run that. After that, your timekeeper, Sarah Beth Confer, will be here. I will wrap you up, and we will give you your minutes. If you want to take additional time, if you don't, we'll say, hey, you have additional time. Again, I'm Sheila Smoot. I have a Sheila Smoot Show, and I'm former elected official and all that jazz. And this is going to be Joseph Bryan with AL.com. After these questions, and they will go quick, and we will not hold you, we will fire off a couple of questions as well. Again, we are going to be cordial, and we are glad you're here. We're excited you're here. You all look amazing. I know it's been a long time out here. And look at this packed house. I am excited. Look at and now at this time, I'm going to turn it back over as we continue. Again, that was your first question. You also have a total of 10 questions. It will go fast. You do not have to take your entire time. If you feel like your thought has been complete, then that's okay. If I say time, I will say time again, and then I will say time again, and we will cut your mic, but we will be very cordial and respectful to you as candidates, because this is a tough job. It's tough getting out there with this crowd here as well. And we are live streaming, thanks to Jarvis Escott and First Impressions. Our last stream was 11,000 views. So we hope to exceed that, because it's a pretty good one. At this time, I'm going to turn it back over to Mr. Muhammad.
All right, and we're not necessarily gonna do 10 questions, but we believe in full employment for city workers. Birmingham has had the largest revenue in history, but city jobs are left unfilled. The Street and Sanitation Department, I was told, at one time had 3,200 employees. Now it has approximately 1,500. These are jobs that could add to the city economy. So I'd like to ask you, what's your opinion on that?
First of all, let me add a correction. The Public Works Department really only has roughly about 500 employees. I work for the Public Works Department. I too have worked for the county. I worked in environmental services for the county. I served as an administrator in Mayor Aaron Capel and Kincaid's office, as well as I have been a city employee. The city cannot be cleaned until we get enough people and manpower to clean it. We must have enough city employees, whether it be at the Public Works Department or at the police department, certified police officers. The city of Birmingham only has about 400 officers right now. Our city is not safe. If our city is not safe, then that means all other issues that arise are problematic. It's problematic mentally, physically, and emotionally. When I am elected mayor, I'm gonna ensure that we rehire, bring back, and fully staff the Public Works Department, putting manpower back out on the streets, adding back our twice-a-week garbage service pickup that is most needed to get rid of these rats, these extra roaches that are coming about, and not only that, the grass, litter, trash, and debris. So with that being said, the question should be, if the city of Birmingham is showing all of those employees on the books and they don't have them on the books, the question is, where is the money? Make it make sense, everybody. I have a few more seconds. The other question is, why is there such an appetite for those in the mayor's office to continue to lie about the number of employees at the Public Works
15
Department?
seconds.
To lie about the number of APO certified law enforcement officers, to lie about the total number of employees at the city of Birmingham. The city of Birmingham needs manpower, they need woman power, and they need to get the people in place to take care of you, the citizens
Time.
here in the city of Birmingham. Thank you.
All right, so on this topic, we have to ask ourselves, how did we get here? What happened to the city workers for them to leave? Some say furloughed, some say corruption. It's a lot of city workers complaining about pay. And they got a 1% raise. You know, the first thing I'm gonna do, we have to treat the employees of the city fair and give them what they deserve. Because going out there cutting the grass, these lots that they let go for 5 or more months and just pile up, they go out there and they get the bare minimum for cutting those lots. And it's a very stressful job. And accountability, I want to talk about accountability. A lot of the workers, supervisors, don't follow up on the work that they do out there. And the head departments don't follow up on the work that they do. The mayor needs to be held accountable because there's a lot of reallocation with the money, speaking of money, and it's going to different places instead of where it needs to go. So what we need to start doing is holding people accountable because they've been getting over for decades at this point. It's not just this mayor. It's a lot of money missing. It's a lot of lies going on, and it's a lot of corruption. So what I would do is give everybody pay raises
30 seconds.
in the first year and treat them fairly. And make sure we send funds to the right departments. Because it's a lot of reallocation, as I said, and we're gonna talk more about it later on.
Ms. Scales?
Yes, ma'am. So let me say this, first of all, as a council member, I didn't work for the city, I led the city as a city council member. As a council member, your job is to make sure that you advocate on behalf of not only the employees, but the service that they provide to the citizens. You want to get any department back to the place where it needs to be, that's the budget. What the taxpayers have to be educated on is your money. You should know in advance, not during election time, where your money is community, because it is the citizens affected. Let me also say this, as not a county employee, but a county leader, I recognize that if, again, you want quality service, you have to pay. You have to have benefits to compete. This is not hard when you know how to lead. All you have to do based on the new Mayor-Council Act that occurred in 2016, all department heads report to the mayor. So the problem is real simple. All you have to do is take the people's priority, have the courage and the boldness to implement it, and let's get this city back on track. Thank you.
So my thought, living in Inslee, living in downtown Inslee, I drive to Avenue W, Public Works. Most of the time I drive over there, it's closed. And then we see, the administration talking about no dumping. I understand why people dump. Nothing is convenient. It's not right. One time I called the police when people were actively dumping on my site. They showed up and they told the people to hurry up and leave. It's all on camera. So it's the customs, it's the patterns here. I talked to one public works person a few weeks ago, and he said a lot of times they leave Inslee, and the reason why they're closed and they're going to other communities. They're taking care of other communities. So we are the neglected, and I'm committed to the underserved. My number one platform is how do we get resources to the underserved? How do we take care of those who have been forgotten? How do we do it? And when you look at the budget, it's something that Hunter Williams said. He said, we know, for example, with police officers, we know we're not gonna fill those positions. So they're putting all these extra 100 or 150 positions or 200 positions, and they know they're not gonna even attempt to fill them. And then at the end of the year, they say they have a surplus, and then they spend the money on whatever they choose, or whatever they was planning to do in the first place. So it's things like that. If it's gonna be budgeted for that entity, we need to make sure it stay in that entity where possible. So we have to be honest about what our city needs, and we have to be fair about the distribution of money.
Mr. Wilson.
I wish it was about wages. I wish it was about willing to pay competitive prices and the like, but it's not. We don't have a shortage of money. It's about that when those rooms that the mayor will be invited into, they have opinions about Birmingham. I've been in those rooms, and one of the things they said was, y'all have too many employees. And one of the things we have to do, instead of saying yes, you're right, what do I need to do? You ask, well, why do you say that? Right. Have you done a study? Do you know what it is they are doing? We need 900 plus police officers, not because it's my opinion, because when you put the square miles that have to be patrolled into the formula, it comes out. Right. It may be off by whatever, but that is a science. We don't see people in our police officers in our communities like we used to, and those that come, we don't even know who they are. A city has always provided entry-level jobs for people that graduate, maybe like me. I graduated at 17 and didn't know what I wanted to do. It was a safe place, and you could go and you could work for the public works of Birmingham, Alabama, and you could work for parks and recreation, and you could be in the fire department or police, and people were proud of that because there weren't a whole lot of jobs that black folks could have with dignity. And to finally be able to get those jobs and to have people that come behind us and cut them off, y'all, it makes no sense. Not only do we need the services, but we need the jobs.
Time.
Not only do we need the, oh, no 15-second warning? Okay. Services, we need, okay.
Time.
I'm just saying.
Mr. Muhammad. I don't think that was a prerequisite, but if you would like that, Mr. Woodson, I'd be glad to oblige.
I'll give you my copy of the rules that they gave us, ma'am.
That's fine, I will be glad to oblige you, so I'll have you get a 15-second warning. I'll ask the timing group to give us that. Thank you for your concern. Thank you. Mr. Muhammad?
It's 30 seconds, but
We gave you 30, Mr. Woodson. No need to approach. No need to approach. No need to approach.
Can you get
I've
that
got
to
the
her?
same thing. I've got the same thing. Mr. Woodson, with all due respect, we did give you a 30-second warning, and we will be obliged to make sure that we give you the appropriate warning.
thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yes,
Mr.
ma'am.
Muhammad, please proceed.
Okay, thank you for your cooperation, Frank. I'm gonna make it real quick and simple. This is what I'm going to do to make sure we have a safe city, to make sure that businesses will never encounter ever again like what they encountered in 5 Point South. It was absolute negligence to not have a police presence in your business and commercial districts. So what am I gonna do? As an incentive to get police, I'm gonna recruit from around the country, and we're gonna let them take their cars home. They have programs in other cities where they pay the mortgages of the police officers. I am going to do that, provided that they live in the city limit of Birmingham, because that means that they are stakeholders. I am going to, that's one, and then we're gonna give other incentives also. That'll be for, quickly solving heinous crimes like murder, robbery, grand theft, etc. I'm going to demand day one and put lawyers on the board of Birmingham Southern and get our $5 million back. That's my alma mater, and I supported them getting it. But it is absolutely insane, because it has been so racist that they did not want an HBCU in Birmingham, Alabama, where you
30.
could build a middle class or a wealth class, and it would have benefited everything west of I-65, almost down to Bessemer. I'm gonna demand our $5 million back, and I'm gonna use that along with helping for police salaries. That's how I get it done.
Thank you.
Okay, the city employees' pensions have not been raised in 30 years. So you have cost of living adjustments and social security and other money that people get on their job. So it's been 30 years since the city retirees have raised. So what's your opinion on that?
We're gonna start with Mr. Woodson.
Starting with Jeremy.
Mr. Woodson.
Thank you. Everything can go by the budget. You know, I thought that would have been a great idea to take those retirees that had been retired a long time and are greatly underpaid, that maybe we could start there. But after meeting with the FOP and some of those folks before, I found out that you have to give that raise across the board to make it fair to everyone. If that's the law, then that's what we have to live with, and if there's a way to change that, then we can look at that so that we can really help those people immediately who need it. But I believe that there's some things that we can do. We may not be able to get all the way to where we want to be with the raise, but there are some things that we can do, just like we do in the private sector, looking at our health insurance and figuring out how to cut costs and seeing if we can find that $15 million by looking at how we're spending our healthcare dollars. We run it like a business, and we get smart, and we don't pad stuff like employee, payrolls, and we know we're not going to use it. Let's put the resources back to the people as much as we can. That's one of the things that I will commit to doing. We've got to take care of our people. We take care of the corporations. Let's make sure that we begin to take care of the people. Thank you.
Ms. Gavan.
By day, I'm a union lawyer. I worked at the Public Works Department, as I stated a little while ago. I listened to all of these individuals talk about the public works. I put myself through Miles Law School working on the back of a garbage truck, from the garbage truck to the brush truck, from the brush truck to the litter truck, to getting my CDL license and becoming a supervisor, working in ditch crew as well. I support city employees because I've been one. I've cleaned up the streets and I've picked up the paper. The city of Birmingham has not given a raise in X amount of years, but the realization is there needs to be a reallocation in the budget. There's enough supplemental left every year to give the necessary raises to those employees that are there, as well as those who have served and given their hard work dedication to the city of Birmingham. There needs to be a reallocation. This is not a difficult process. This is a process of somebody wanting to do it. And we can make all of these excellent speeches that we give to you all here today to convince you of this, but the realization is that you have people inside of City Hall who are refusing to be considerate of the demands and the requests of those who have served and worked for the city of Birmingham. This is not a difficult process. This is a matter of 5 votes and the implementation of those votes to provide the necessary raises
30.
and the increases. For me, if I am elected, that will be one of the first things that I've already promised many city employees, as well as those that have retired, that we're gonna reallocate those funds, and we're gonna hold those individuals who have
15.
served us to a level of high standard and regard, to say thank you. Because a 1% raise this year, what can you do with 1%? Make it make sense to everybody.
Mr. Rice.
Thank you. My first thought on the pension and on the retirees is I believe we are missing opportunities to increase our budget. And I believe this affects all of us as well. So for example, we have a protective stadium. All we're getting is sales tax off of this thing. You know, we got a region field. You know, we got this amphitheater, and all we getting is sales tax. You know, things like that. We got to figure out where can we add more opportunity for more revenue inside the city, because when people come in here, they go to those stadiums, they get right back on that freeway, and then they take all that money out of the city. We have to figure out how to renegotiate some of these deals. We may not be able to negotiate the path, but we got to figure out where can we add more funds. But now I want to think about the underserved. The underserved, that retiree who's only been receiving $400 a month for the last 20 years or 30 years. We must take care of our retirees. If it was a $15 million gap or $18 million gap, and we went from a $443 million budget to a $591 between Bale and Woodfin, there's $15 million, $18 million, well, we should have put the retirees first. In the budget, or either the master plan, we're supposed to be funding the pension at about 98 to 99%. We're somewhere between 30 to 70%. We have to figure out how to do it, but like others said, we just have to do it.
Mr. Littlepage.
So this is what I just mentioned in my last answer, my last response, when you asked the first question. When I said about the corruption, it's people, well, like, the mayor could make all this happen, but it's about standing up to the people who's influencing the voters on voting against this. And so with that being said, it's easy enough to talk the talk, but it's hard to walk the walk, especially against powerful people that control the money. And so, like I said, on my first response, I said it's a lot of reallocating. We have the money, as Mr. Rice said, we have 591 for the city budget. The money is being spent in the wrong places. We have to take care of the people. We have to really put the people first. We can't keep putting the people last. And we shouldn't have to beg and fight to give the people what they need. Like they were saying a minute ago, not just this mayor, but the last mayor also. For over 30 years, they've been fighting for what's theirs. So all I'm gonna do is stand up to the bully, look him in the eye, we're gonna get this city back right.
Mrs. Scales.
Thank you. For the good thing about having been one of the leaders of the city, I understand that, first of all, 85% of our overall personnel, when we talk about the budget, It's the workers. So 85% of the budget goes to the workers. But let me just say this from having institutional knowledge. That's a part of your benefit package. Why would you go and invest in a city for 20 years of your life and then not consider what the benefit package looks like as it relates to your retirement? That is what attracts workers. I'm talking about quality folk that want to go to work. Now, let me say this very quickly. Again, when we speak of the budget and we recognize that we have to have employees to provide a service, the city has to reprioritize. Are you into human capital, or are you more interested in building projects and window dressing? You know, I was a council member that got actually attacked for talking about what we're talking about. And I can stand on record and say I was about my business. Because I recognize that to have a 1%, a 2%, a 3%, these were games that were being played every political season. And I'm gonna say to you all as voters, if you like getting 6 months out of 4 years of service, then shame on us. If you get tricked that one time, then I'm sorry. You're not gonna trick me a second time. And that's the reason why people think that I've been in office longer than I have. Because as a council member, I learned my job. As a county commissioner, I learned my job. And you know who I work effectively for? You.
Yes. Did you already address that question? Mr. Africa? Did you already, I thought you addressed the last on the SC.
Let me say that there is seniors up here, the only one that retired and came out of, can you hear me? Can everybody hear me? Yes. Okay. Then the only senior up here, I believe, and coming out of retirement, of almost 5 years out of retirement. I fully understand meeting the bottom line, and I will do what's necessary. Now, it was mentioned that the BJCC has gotten millions out of us, and I remember when Ms. Scales was on that city council, and I know that she's correct. She did oppose them getting that money because Birmingham has one seat on that board, and the problem that we have in this, and there's even a guy from Walker County on that board. That is disgraceful. Yes. What is sad also is that we get no tax revenue. That's a correction, Brian. No tax revenue comes to the city of Birmingham. It goes to the county government. Not a penny comes to the city of Birmingham. That is very similar to the segregation of Mississippi, where they created another city within a city. And they discriminate against black employees. I was at the trial when, and it goes back to the 70s, and I remember David Van fought to get black contractors just a measly 10%. Out of 20-some $million, I believe it was. Is that correct, Brian?
30 seconds.
And black contractors only got, was it $276 out of 20-some $1 million. This is the kind of disparity we're talking about. You got to put a mayor in there that is not going to take any prisoners when it comes to discriminating against our people, the majority in this city. And I would do it. I'm going to end corporate welfare in this city once and for all. I have a history of doing it. 40 years of fighting these devils. Thank you.
All right. This is my last question, because it seems like y'all getting bored with me. What would you do to fight to protect city assets from state takeover?
We're going to start with Mr. Rice.
Thank you. One thing I will say, I'm unafraid to stand. Walked in a courtroom a year ago. I'm standing against 13 lawyers. Can't find an attorney to stand up for me. But I understood what it's like to stand against an attorney general, to stand against the UAB, to stand against the BBA, to stand against the Rail Birmingham, to stand against, about 5 other entities. So I'm unafraid to stand for right. We must strengthen our law department. We must make sure our city council will make the recommendation to them that they have their own lobbyists down there in Montgomery. That way we have two sets, one for the legislative branch, one for the executive branch. We must make sure we have folks who are constantly reading, the new laws, the new suggestions, or the new bills, constantly. This thing with 2016 with the Birmingham Waterworks Board, it said it in 2015 or 2016. That means someone was not paying attention when we acquired the St. Clair County assets. Somebody was not paying attention when we got the other assets. I think it was either Bibb County or Walker County. When we surpassed 3, we was putting everybody at risk in the city of Birmingham of losing. So we must make sure our attorneys are there and they are focused on the assets of the city and they're focused on bills.
30 seconds.
Especially bills that may be related to the Birmingham Airport Authority, especially new bills that have just popped up about they may be able to come in the city and appoint a police chief. We must be very diligent on what we do. So thank you.
Mr. Appico?
Oh, I love that question. When you fight with the devil, you give him some of his own medicine. So how do you fight fire with fire? We don't have guns big enough to fight this enemy, because this enemy is on a wicked level, a wicked spiritual level. Here's what I'll do. I will organize the only resources that we have amongst the people. That is the church, Pastor Lowe, Bishop, the church. We're going to get all the ministers that believe in our people and want to stop the suffering and the bleeding that's going to the corporatocracy. That's what I call it, corporations, that welfare. And we're going to get the ministers, Bishop, to go take y'all's money out of those big banks. And when you start doing that, the folks in Montgomery get a phone call. You don't have a big enough gun to fight them. I'm not going out there and be a martyr that way. Take your money out of their banks. You'll get their attention. That's one of the ways I'll do it. The pen is mightier than the sword. And that is right here on my handbill. And I'm going to use that pen like a sword. Thank you.
Mrs. Scales?
Thank you. Well, first of all, you can refer to what's on the back so you'll know that we've already studied this, and I am the only candidate that is talking based on knowledge about the fact that the city has a law department. So when we talk about state takeover, the bottom line is that you don't need 2 or 3 lobbyists. You're the taxpayers. Would you pay 2 or 3 lobbyists to do one job? No, the city needs a lobbyist, and we need to stand solidly together as a city. That's why we are failing while other suburban municipalities are growing. So your question is, how do you fight the state back? You got a law department. The lawyers need to fight the law. It's not hard. When you know what you're doing, that's what it boils down to. And if you have a lobbyist and you work for the city, your job is to make sure you're talking to these lawmakers, including the one that's sitting here tonight. And you need to know what is going on down there. What is the temperature? When do we need to act? How soon do we need to let the public know? And so we can get more community involvement. But to say that you are going to do all of this outside stuff that doesn't include the law, that's not going to happen. You got to follow the law of the state of Alabama, the Constitution of 1901. And I'm telling you, based on the change of the Mayor-Council Act, the mayor has the authority to hire what is necessary if our law department is conflicted out. But I believe you clean up that law department if they are that conflicted on your behalf. Thank you.
Since I am the only legislator here and I know what goes on in Montgomery and how this process works, it's simple. Birmingham, no differently than any other municipality in this country, we have a bifurcated system of government for a reason. That is executive, legislative, and judicial. What is going on in Montgomery and the takeover of the Waterworks Board is the fault of the mayor of the city of Birmingham. You have to be present, you have to be attentive, and you have to be an administrator. The mayor of the city of Birmingham knew that that bill had been written. He knew that who the sponsor was. He never said one word. It was written and sponsored in on written on March 28th and sponsored in on April 17th. I, as a legislator, would not know if I wasn't the originator of the bill. But the city of Birmingham does have lobbyists. And I do agree with one of the candidates. Bifurcated system for a reason. The executive branch should have a lawyer. And truly, it should be the city attorney. But also, the city council needs to have their own eyes with regards to the lobbyists in governmental affairs. Why? Because one lobbyist who operates under the signature of the
30
mayor
seconds.
is going to have to make a decision one day. Who does he serve? You cannot serve two masters. In the Birmingham Water Works Board and the water system that is now gone to a regional process was lost at the hands of the mayor
15
because
seconds.
he failed to act, he failed to serve as an administrator, and he failed to work a system in which he was awake, and not only awake, but to stay woke with regards of the city to the city of Birmingham
Time.
business. And you must be attentive to the people that elect you into office.
It's hard not to be passionate about something that impacts people so much. The loss of the Waterworks Board it's one of the most demoralizing losses. And there's enough blame to go all the way around. We should never be blindsided about legislation, because we send out legislators and it's their job to go down to Montgomery and build relationships and know what's going on before it ever gets back here to where our law department wants to fight or has to fight. When I'm elected mayor, I don't trust flesh. We've got a mayor council act that gives so much authority to the mayor. It would be one of the first things that I would do, what this mayor has not done, and that's bring the entire Jefferson County delegation together and let's rewrite this right here, because he put the folks on the board. He was the one that pushed for some of the folks on the board that really made the other folks mad. The mayor has too much power without accountability. I don't want to trust myself with that. We've got to work to change that bill and be one band, one sound in getting it done. We should have known.
30 seconds.
Before it ever hit us, we should have known. Others knew about it. Other legislators knew about it, and other people over the mountain knew about what was going on before we ever found out. So nobody keeps secrets.
15 seconds.
They know about the solar farm coming to Inslee. We know nothing about that. We pay people to go and if necessary, find out what's going on and to call Jab on Wagon if necessary. Thank y'all.
All right, so I agree with everybody, what they take, but I just want to say what they was trying to say. It's a lot of backdoor deals going on, right? And so yeah, I'm the troublemaker. I'm gonna tell you the truth. So the mayor knew about Birmingham Waterworks. So the thing is, they talk about transparency. Like they say, they're gonna be transparent, be accountable, hold them accountable. He knew about the Birmingham Waterworks takeover. He let the takeover happen, and then he staged a political stunt and said he's gonna get a lawyer. He's gonna fight and try to get it back and try to. It's a lot of politics going on, y'all. And I know I'm only 26, but I'm saying I want to tell y'all. It's what the reason why I'm running for mayor. I just want to let y'all know. I see it clear as day. Like I see what's going on, and it's like some people don't see what's going on. Like they get up and they let this stuff happen. It's really they selling a lot of stuff, you know. And then nobody taking it, they selling it. You see what I'm saying? Well, Birmingham has lost a lot of things. That wasn't the first thing we lost, and that's not gonna be the last time we lose. Never mind, let me stop. But all right, so yeah, that was a political stunt for the election season, and it was already in the works. The deal was already made, and we just gotta wake up and hold the people accountable.
30
Because
seconds.
it's a lot of lies and deception. And if you elect me for mayor, I will not deceive you, and I'll just be transparent with you and tell you what's really going on, because we have to stand up to the elite, we have to stand up to the bullies. We cannot let them keep buying all our properties,
15 seconds.
assets, and properties.
Mr. Muhammad.
Okay, that's all for me, and we're gonna turn it over now to the professionals. That was just our agenda. I apologize that it took so much time, but this is a good group of candidates. Let's give them a big round of applause. I was the one saying we weren't gonna wait for Jeremy, but damn, Jeremy. Damn. So we're gonna turn it over to the professionals now. Thank you all, and we'll continue down this road.
Thank you, Mr. Muhammad. Tonight, this community forum is brought to you by the Committee to Save Jefferson County. Mr. Muhammad, if you're a member of that, raise your hand. The Black Contractors Association and the Fraternal Order of Police, Dexter Cunningham, and the FOP who got us this building tonight. Can we give them a round of applause for hosting us? Tonight, your live streaming will be provided by, again, as we said, Jarvis Escott and First Impressions. I'm one of your moderators, and I'm honored to be here before the public tonight. I'm honored that all of the candidates are here. Our incumbent is not at this time. We did invite everybody, and I do want to say Ms. Marcia is the person of record who did all of those invitations for all of the forums. Again, Ms. Sarah Beth Conkle will be your timekeeper. Also, there have been other forums, and this is just notes, and then I'll bring my co-moderator up. In District 8 at the Inslee Rec Center, there were 11,600 views. I should know that, to speak in that right? District 1 and 4 at Guiding Light Baptist Church, Bishop Lowe, 6,900 views. District 6 and 7 at Greater Shiloh Baptist Church, 8,500 views. 25,000 views were sent in by email to subscribers with What's Happening Birmingham. And also citizens, again, are eager, so if you cannot make it here, I always tell people, please share. If you wish to film what is going on, you are allowed to do that respectfully. Again, a great group of candidates, and a great journalist in the midst. I'm a journalist, and I like to bring up my co-host, Mr. Joseph Bryant, who not only covered City Hall, we both covered City Hall. I also covered City Hall when Mayor Arrington and under William Bell and a couple of others. Mr. Joseph was an intern at the time when I met him at the University of Alabama. I'm very proud of him. He also has covered City Hall. He's worked at City Hall. I've worked in county government, and all of these folks are wonderful people first. So respectfully, let's hear what they have to say and have an open, honest mind about what is happening on August 26th. So with AL.com, without further ado, you will hear questions from me that were provided, and you will also hear questions from Mr. Joseph that were not provided. So I don't know what he's going to ask, and he doesn't know what I was providing. And with all due respect, we will give you ample time. If you wish to take the remainder of your time, and we say time, or you have more, say, hey, we want to take the rest, please do, by all means. We are very honored that you are here, because it's been a long time and it's only a few weeks. So this is a respectful group of people, and we know you are as well. So thank you in advance. At this time, I'm going to turn over the first question to Mr. Joseph.
All right, listen, everybody. First of all, thank you all for being here. All the candidates are here today, except for maybe one candidate. So I'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room right now. The incumbent mayor is not here today. He had other obligations or something else, he's not here today. But what makes, can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Can you hear me now? Okay, again, addressing the elephant in the room. The incumbent mayor is not here, you all are here. What makes you individually qualified to take that position and stand out above this crowded field of candidates to say, hey, I want the position, here's why I'm qualified to be the mayor of the city of Birmingham?
We'll go with Mrs. Scales.
Thank you. Well, first, let me say this, that I do have city policy-making experience in addition to having to approve the city's budget. So I know the power that lies not only in the mayor's office, but in the city council as well. In addition to that, I have county experience, which has afforded me the opportunity to have budgeting and policy-making experience. And a lot of what I've been hearing, I am so encouraged by those who are running, but I know when it comes from a policy perspective, it's not real what we're talking about. That's why I keep referring back to the law, because once you know what is allowed, you can effectively fight the war that we are up against. So I appreciate this opportunity, but that is what sets me apart. And most of all, I have a track record, a proven track record of getting results. And I have no enemies on behalf of those that I serve.
Mr. Van?
Did you say Devaney?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Repeat the question, because I
Yes,
want to make
yes.
sure that I get this just right.
In this crowded field of candidates, what makes you uniquely qualified to become the next mayor for the city of Birmingham? What makes you stand out among everybody else?
Because I'm me. No, seriously, that's not meant to be said. God made us all unique. We all have certain skill sets and abilities. I am a policymaker, a political science major. I am a lawyer, a practicing attorney for the last 21 plus years here in the state of Alabama, and I'm also a member of the Alabama House of Representatives. I don't know how much more policy experience you need to run the city of Birmingham. The city of Birmingham does not necessarily need anyone with regards to policy. The city of Birmingham needs an administrator. 8 years ago, the citizens of Birmingham turned the key of the city of Birmingham over to someone who had never served as a boss, who had never administrated, who had never organized, who had never supervised, and the people were so frustrated that they made a decision to turn the biggest key of the city for a city in the state of Alabama over to a novice. Make it make sense. So why am I different? Because I have the experience, I have the knowledge, I have the know-how. As I said, I work for the greatest mayor, I don't care who's in the room or who's not, to ever do it, Richard Arrington Jr. And this election will be the most consequential election since 1979. William Bell, Arrington, Kincaid, and was the last lawyer to work on the case to bring Mayor Larry Langford home to die
30
under
seconds.
compassionate release. Why am I this person that I say that makes me so different? Because I am me, and I am going to give you my word that I'm going to work while it is day, while no man will be able to say that I didn't keep my word to fight for
15
the
seconds.
people in the city of Birmingham to make it better than where we have found it in the last 8 years. Thank you.
Mr. Woodson? Yes, sir.
I believe that I'm the only one that's uniquely qualified to be an executive leader, a CEO of the city. I haven't had legislative experience, and there's leadership at the legislative level, but they can only make decisions by group. But I've worked with leaders in Montgomery. I've led leaders, and that's what it's going to take in Birmingham. There was nobody to call any leaders when they took over the Waterworks Board. There was no one to call for a room of CEOs. When I ran the Land Bank Authority, Lieutenant Governor Ivey was on my board, the head of the House and Senate and Appropriation was on my board, and the folks that were running agencies in Montgomery were on my board. When we wanted to come up with an economic development plan for the Birmingham region, I met for a year with the CEOs and the heads of nonprofits and the heads of the universities for a year to come up with Blueprint Birmingham. We brought in the consultants and we created the BBA and all of that, and in the 11th hour, they cut out small businesses. They cut out neighborhoods. And I'm the only one that has the experience that make happen what needs to happen in our communities. We need to stabilize our communities before we revitalize them. We got to use the land bank, and I was the chairman of the Land Bank Authority, to get rid of the vacant lots, to give them away to people so that we get them off of the books. And I'm the only one, I believe, that has run large operations with a Fortune 50 company. I know how to get it done and what we need at this time.
Mr. Kamal, Africa.
I want to say there are a lot of people here that do a lot of talking about what they did on the public dime, whether it was in a public position or a nonprofit. But Hosea 4:6 says, my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. When you work for 40 years in your community and you get things done, such as $8,000 for the Boys Club in one day raised, $7,400 for Wilkerson's band uniforms and mascot, $3 million for my community, Smithfield, demanding that black contractors do the renovation of the Bruno Smithfield Center, helping felons for 39 years get their rights back. Ask Eddie Gaston, who owns Eddie Seat Covers. Forcing the state of Alabama to send Bobby Frank Cherry to Bryce to see whether or not he was mentally competent to stand trial for the murder of the 4 little girls in the 16th Street Baptist Church. I was instrumental in helping Larry Langford to make sure he got 2 other votes on that county commission, one being a person in here, Ms. Smith.
30 seconds.
To make sure you got that 1 cent sales tax passed so your children can go to the high schools, the middle schools, and the elementary schools, and also you have satellite. That was Kamal Africa that did that. Larry Langford hired me because he knew I was the
15
best.
seconds.
So if you want somebody that has done things from their heart, and I did it for free, not on the public dime, as a nonprofit or as a politician, supposed to do my job because I was paid to do a job out of my heart. So if you
Time.
give me the power, you'll know I'm going to do what I'm going to do.
Time.
Thank you.
Mr. Rice.
I had a chance to leave Birmingham in 1998, come back in 2013. Lived in Charlotte, North Carolina, lived in Knoxville, Tennessee, lived in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, lived in Richmond, Virginia, lived in Houston, Texas. And I kept wondering what is going on with my hometown. I come back, and it's the experience of Birmingham that I'm concerned about. I've never experienced evil like this until I came back. It's experience in leadership that I'm concerned about. I'm concerned about the oppressive environment we are in Birmingham. For a man to have a buildings appraised at less than a penny, and people are trying to justify fraud. Trying to justify fraud in a civil rights city. My only dream was to create workforce development programs, entrepreneurship development programs, mentoring programs. Every leader that I know did everything possible to stop me from developing. My pastime since 2009 is reading Birmingham history. I watch old Birmingham City Council meetings for fun in 2007, 2008, watching Larry Langford and what he said. I read policy for fun. So when the $0 appraisal happened to me, I said, this is great. So now you just made the situation bigger. Now I'm gonna study the whole country when it comes to economics in African American communities. What happened in Inslee? $0 appraisal,
30
property
seconds.
taxes at 535% increases, removal of property, of right to protest taxes, and the experience here that has done everything possible to stop me from developing. But it's not just me, it's Wiley, it's North Birmingham, it's
15
Eastlake,
seconds.
it's the entire city. So I am committed to the underserved. I'm committed to the under-resourced. And I will always stand for right.
Mr. Littlepage.
All right, I don't have a long answer. So I just want to say, what makes me stand out is because I'm willing to serve. I want to serve the people. I've been watching, I'm a product of the lies that have been told, the broken promises. We've been hearing the same stories and the same promises of what they're gonna do, and then every time they get in, they're gonna do it. And I'm just like the people, I'm tired of it. So that's why I'm running for mayor. It's been a lot of politicians that came to neighborhoods, selected neighborhoods. They don't come to all 99. They come do photo ops, they come and do stuff for people in the city that has kids, which it's all ran through nepotism and all that stuff. But I have the courage, I have morals, I have principles, I have integrity. And what I learned in this short amount of time we all been running, it's a lot of people who won't pass the torch because of money and power. And so we need a new leadership. We have the same leadership for a long time. We switched the mayors, but it's the other people that's still in the offices getting the money. They getting pay raises too. The city workers not getting pay raises, but they getting pay raises. It's a couple of people that make over $200,000. And yeah, more than that. I'm glad you're right. No, but and so what I've been going through this whole time.
30 seconds.
What I've been going through this whole time, I realized that it's people controlling the city and controlling the mayor. And so what I want to do, I just want to free the people. I want to free the people.
Thank you. Your next question. What is your plan? Housing in your city has come to a direct standstill when it comes to new homes, single homes. There have been many apartment, multifamily buildings built in the inner core, mainly downtown in that area. So, and now with that said, the housing stock. Your counterparts around you, Hoover just approved last year the building of 5,000 new homes. The city of Trustville around you just approved building over 2,000 homes. Gardendale and Fultondale. Irondale is getting the new Costco. There are a lot of, even Bessemer is building new homes in those cities. And I do want to say those are cities and municipalities run by a mayor, a city council form of government. The largest home builder is a product of Birmingham City Schools. The largest home builder, the top 3 in the country, is a product of Huffman High School and UAB. You are also now the 4th largest city when you have been a #1 city since the 1800s, and you went to #2, you went to #3, and now Birmingham is #4. What is your plan to correct bringing more citizens into the city, and what is your plan on correcting the shortage or the non-building of new homes, single-family homes, affordable homes, and those homes that are for your professionals as well, so that you bring back that vitality to your city in the housing arena? I will start with you, Mr. Littlepage.
Birmingham has fallen short, and it's because of lack of transparency. A lot of the surrounding cities flourishing because they do right by the people. They actually put the people first, and they don't put the money first. And so a lot of our money is disappearing. I just say disappearing. It's disappearing. And nobody's checking on the money. Nobody's following up on the money. So what I learned just going to other cities and getting knowledge from them, they tell me, the city councilors and the mayor, I talk to them, what they do, they're transparent with the money. They tell the people they have the city council meetings not at 9 o'clock, 9:30. They have them in the evening when people get off work so they can be able to participate in things. And they ask for the people what do they want versus Birmingham doing something for the people and saying, well, y'all should live it anyway. So that's part of the problem. In the housing affordability in this city, it's a part of the politic game. It's a politician game. So right now, they saying affordable housing, but they're starting the houses off at $250,000, $230,000. And it's a lot of friends of friends who benefiting from this. And so what we have to do, honestly, we have to tear it down and build it back up because it's a lot of people who can't be trusted in the city hall. And they let this stuff
30
happen.
seconds.
And you said how much?
30.
Okay, yeah, so
22.
what we have to do is be transparent and come to the people and serve the people and not ourselves and put the money second. We create revenue second. We take care of the people first. That's what we have to do.
Mr. Woodson.
We've got to make a point to begin to grow the city again. Our city, we started off with broken windows and overgrown lots and nothing happened and the city began to decay. When economic developers look at our city now and you have broken houses, they say that we are collapsing. Economic developers are not going to put stores and shops in and grocery stores in communities that are collapsing. So the very first thing we've got to do is clean up our community. And we're going to use the land bank and some other things to do that. We're going to take the side lots that are there that the city doesn't have time to cut. And if you'll take care of those lots for 6 months to a year, we'll give them to you. And that'll take thousands of lots off of the books. We're going to look at the 20,000 houses that we have and put them back in. We're going to clean them with the land bank, removing the liens and the back taxes. And we're going to put people in home ownership program. Our young people can come back from Homewood and other places. Our seniors can own property. We've given stuff to the corporate community. Let's give these houses back to the people. Whatever you put into that house, $40,000, $60,000 to rehab it, that will be your mortgage. That mortgage of $60,000 will be about $500 to $600 a month. That means that we can have affordable housing for working class family, and it will be the largest wealth transfer that we have ever seen in the city of Birmingham, and go into what we talked about earlier, making sure that we have participation. We'll make sure that our local contractors that will hire our young men and have an apprenticeship program, that if they do that, then they will get those contracts to do those houses.
15.
And when they get those contracts, that means that we're doing multiple things at one time. Property values will begin to increase, and that will attract economic development people back so that we revitalize our community.
Thank you. Mr. Africa?
If you want to make Birmingham number one, we have got to raise the self-esteem of our children. The grade levels in Birmingham, little people know, have been on the increase, and that's good. But to make Birmingham number one, we have to have the population, we have to have good schools, and that population has to have sustainable incomes. Current administration, to my knowledge, fought a minimum wage increase, and I think UW Clemens went to Montgomery to the Supreme Court to try to get it. I will push for that again. I will also get top grade athletic facilities like you have in Lakeshore, in the Bessemer complex on Highway 150. We didn't have 3 pools open, only 3 pools open in this city the entire summer. 3 pools. But more than anything, we have to bring jobs here after we make it safe. Now, people talk about police. We have to have a patrol force of about 500 to 800 police. You got a lot of people sitting on their butt up in the offices. I'm gonna put them out on patrol. We're talking about horseback, walking, and driving. We're gonna make sure this city is as safe as it can ever be. And I have identified, if I can
30
push
seconds.
the sale of Birmingham Southern, we're gonna make it a STEM and agricultural school to be able to compete regionally and nationally. Why can't we turn out students like other schools are turning out?
15 seconds.
Why can't Inslee, Pratt, 5 Points West, and Smithville have Black Wall Streets? We can do it if you can dream. I would do what Larry Langford did 2.0 without the Rolex watch, but definitely with the students. Give them the
Time.
opportunity. Thank you.
Time. Thank you. Mr. Rice.
So I'm gonna look at this a little bit different. I'm gonna be fast because there's a lot of stuff that's in there. In downtown Birmingham or the center city, they get to capital stacks. They get to use federal opportunity zone 100% write-off incentives. They get to use TIF district incentives. They get to use a bid district program. They get to use cooperative programs. They get to use extra incentives from the city of Birmingham. So when we have all these developments in downtown Birmingham, you know, it's because they keep incentivizing downtown Birmingham. But now let's jump to 2011. They're planning out the comprehensive plan. In 2014, they released this thing. Every senior in this city should be disappointed and be ready to sue the city. It says it in there. The city must retreat from a paradigm of channeling resources for revitalization to promote growth in these underserved neighborhoods. Wow. That means that's a policy to not channel resources to neighborhoods. Yep. And then immediately after that it says we're focused on demolition. All they've been doing is demolition. There's a book that Randall put on his book club. I know him as Randall Mayor Woodford, and it's called How to Kill a City. Birmingham is copying the model of New Orleans, it's copying the model of Detroit. And those African Americans there have lost a whole lot. They've lost a whole lot, and we're copying the model. It's called right sizing a city. So the focus is all of this resources to downtown. But let's jump back a little bit different. Let's jump to schools.
30 seconds.
All right, I'm trying to be fast in this short period of time. Let's jump to schools. Let's think about, we can't just focus on Birmingham City schools. I want people to move back. If I need to promote homeschooling, if I need to promote private schooling, we need people to move back in the city because people are moving out. 15. And when it comes to crime, we have to focus on crime prevention. I live in a place where ain't nothing but gunshots. We have to focus on a lot of different things. So thank you.
Thank you.
Make it make sense, everybody. Listen to a lot at this table. At the end of the day, we not only have an issue with affordable housing, we have a homeless crisis in the city of Birmingham. Sure. Squatters are taking over our neighborhoods. Yeah. Our communities are no longer livable communities. Birmingham is going to have to decide whether or not, by way of the mayor and the council, somebody, anybody, that they are here for the people that they have been elected by. We must figure out whatever we can with regards to rent. We need rent stabilization here in the city of Birmingham. Our seniors can barely afford to live where they live now, even in some of the communities that may not be as up to par as we want them to be. We need wraparound programs for the homeless. We must figure out an initiative so we can get the people who are living next to us that are squatting out of these neighborhoods in somewhere that they can either get the services that they need, but certainly they should not be able to live next to our elderly and our children. Birmingham has not built one brand new housing development, at least with 250 to 500 people since Oxmoor. And part of Oxmoor is in the Bessemer Cutoff. Make it make sense. I continue to say this one thing. Birmingham needs an administrator that will care about the people, that will care about the services, and that will care how our communities look, how we live, and most importantly, I'll simply say this: if you really care about the citizens, you're gonna take care of the housing crises. But not only that, we need a program and a plan for market rate housing as well. Not everybody wants affordable, but we certainly need to take care of those that need the affordable, because the Bible says the poor will be with you always. But Birmingham needs an administrator who will put an eye and the effort and hands on fixing this city and building new houses so the people will come. Thank you.
Mrs. Scales?
Thank you. Well, the beauty of those statistics that you gave, and I'm glad to see one of our former council members that served with me, I've been hearing a lot at this table, I. That's why the Mayor Council Act was changed, because that mayor wanted to be the I instead of the city. We are a city government, and the city government should work collectively as one. And that's why Irondale, Trustville, Mountain Brook, and all these other places continue to grow. Because when they interface on your behalf or the citizens' behalf, they interface as a city government. When they go after economic opportunities, they're not going divided, they're going united, and they offer incentives. When it comes down to these vacant lots and everything, let's talk about the fact we do have federal dollars. It's called community block grant dollars. They don't just go to a part of the city. You utilize community block grant dollars from the federal government to redevelop those communities. Not you just demoing down a house. You got to have a comprehensive land use plan. So that's the reason why I keep saying, if we're going to go after the top seat, all of us got to know what this job is. We got to study the law. We got to know. We will be no different than what this young man is talking about in his generation. You'll be selling lies and selling pies. We just talking about things that are not going to happen. But I will tell you in closing, no one is going to move to a city that they don't feel safe. It got to be walkable and it got to be livable. And that's what other cities that I see, that's why I'm running. Because I see the cities around my city, they're competing while we're lamed up. But don't you forget tonight who you didn't see. Second town hall meeting on the east side of Birmingham, no show.
At this time, I'll turn it over to Mr. Joseph Bryant.
We're at the FOP headquarters right now, Terminal Police, so it's very important, public safety. You all have talked about it individually about public safety in this city. Can you hear me now? Yes. All right. We're at the FOP headquarters now, where public safety is central to a lot of our people here right now. You mentioned it, some of you individually, about public safety and crime. Last year, as we know, was really deadly, one of the most deadly years we've had on record. The homicide rate is lower this year, but people still die. So my question is, are you satisfied with the direction that we're going right now with the public safety plan? And if not, what is your plan to reduce these homicide rate or just overall public safety in our city?
Ms. Gavad?
I don't think anyone in this room should be satisfied. The last 4 years, I know for a whole fact, 4 years, I was the only person at this table that took on City Hall, that stood up verifiable, yes I did, to Randall Woodfin, and I normally don't call anybody's names, but it's so verifiable, I must tonight. To say that enough is enough because I was sick and tired of hearing a mother yell out, "That's my child." Birmingham needs more sworn law enforcement officers. They need a plan that will also encompass support services. They need a plan that will also incorporate the escalation training, not just for officers, but for citizens. We need a gun prevention program. We need a buy-in, however, also, and whether you like it or not, from the neighborhoods and citizens working along with law enforcement officers. My plan is simple. Go to gavanformayor.com. My plan is called the Birmingham Protect and Serve Community Participation Partnership Program, where I am proposing to put in most of these areas, especially the more heavily crime areas, a substation that I will bring back those individuals, officers who have either retired, and if they have not retired, they have gone through some degree
30 seconds.
of attrition, but we will have a presence in these neighborhoods. Most of the people that you see that kill, they kill and they do a lot of these things because why? They think that they can get away with it. Because no one is going to catch
15
them.
seconds.
People talk about the west side of town, but the west side of town it's not that it's so bad, it's just so poorly manned by law enforcement. That is my program and that is my plan, but at the end of the day, we must all work together. If you are living in a house and you see something, you need to say something.
Time.
Thank you.
Mr. Africa?
First of all, I beg to differ. When we talk about giving time, and it's only one part that Mr. Van said. Brian Rice and I worked on suing these corporate entities in this city. Brian, how long was it? 4 years, wasn't it? I'm sorry, almost 2 years with me, and I met you. You had been doing it for about 2.5, 3 years. 4 years we gave and struggled and suffered. We couldn't get any law firm, he was right, to represent us except one in DC that wanted $60,000 up front. I was coming off real bad illness, and Brian was struggling. But we put it together, and we made them spend millions of dollars. If they don't do anything else, they're gonna respect our communities from now on. That's one thing we know for sure. But when you're talking about communities, people have nothing to do in this city. If you don't give your people something to do, they're gonna be into mischievous behavior. When I took a young man in the 4th grade in Epic who had a bad attitude, the coach is saying, he was the tallest one sitting on the bench. I said, I'll change that. He said, the coach said he can't jump, he can't shoot. In 8 months, and I had a facility called Birmingham Southern, my alma mater, where I could take him every day from 3:30 to 7 and train him and my young lady, my granddaughter. That young man became the #1 shooter in the city in the 5th grade.
30
They went to
seconds.
the national championship in Orlando last year, didn't win, but guess what, y'all? He was the MVP and the national champions this year, Premier Elite over at MLK. If you give our people something to do,
15
we can create
seconds.
more Venuses and Serenas, more Kobe's, more Michael Jordans, and we can be right in our community and we can grow our community. I have identified about $5 billion in federal
Time.
jobs projects that we can get in Birmingham.
Mr. Littlepage.
AfricaForMayor.com. AfricaForMayor.com.
Time. Mr. Littlepage.
Could you ask the question again?
Are you satisfied with the current plan to address public safety from the administration? If not, what is your plan to improve the homicide rate and public safety in the city of Birmingham?
Okay, no, I'm not satisfied with it, and because I'm currently living in it. And like I always said, I'm 26 and I lost over 32 friends due to gun violence, right? And what I learned, because I do a lot of mental health work in the communities, I learned that mental health awareness is needed in these communities because it starts with the mind first. And a man's brain don't fully develop till you're 25. And what's going on in these communities, because they my peers and I'm going through it and I survived through it and I lived through it. A lot of the teens and early preteen kids, they're smoking, taking pills, drinking cough syrup, they doing a lot of stuff that's damaging their brain, right? And a lot of these kids are bored and we don't have the modern recreation centers that we need. And so we have recreation centers from 2003, 2002, they still look the same, like Memorial Park, for example. So we get updated parks and rec centers and stuff for them to do and have the kids going back to the library after school and doing homework. And we need to take care of the kids because we having a youth problem. The elders not killing each other in the street. And so this is what I really feel like is my strong suit. I'm speaking on this situation because what's going on is a lot of antics are saying we fighting crime and crime down and this and that, but like 6 bodies just dropped like last week. You see what I'm saying? And it was all people around my age, but 7. And it was all people around my age. But like I said, we need to invest, I'm gonna invest in mental health facilities on each side of town. It don't have to be a big extravagant building, but we need mental health facilities because people need to heal. It's a lot of
15
hurt.
seconds.
It's a lot of hurt people out here hurting people, yeah.
Mr. Ray.
Thank you for asking that. Thank you. So I want to think about this a little bit different. I want to think about Larry Langford. Larry Langford had a program called the 1030 program. It was based out of Philadelphia. And he said he wanted to focus on those who were between the age of 10 and 30 because they were the most at risk for committing crimes. What we're seeing right now, we're seeing a lot of people in their 40s, a lot of people in their upper 30s. We never got a chance to address those between 10 and 30, so now they're a little bit older because Larry Langford was not in office long. I also want to think about things like PAT, so I'm glad they did re-implement that. But the current plan of the current administration is to manipulate data. We are about 50 homicides this year. We're on track for about 90. Bell's fifth worst year might have been 66 or 67, fifth. But right now, we're trying to make this year appear as if it's the best year in the world. But we're comparing it to the worst year ever in the history of Birmingham. So we have a 150% increase, and then now we can compare it to that. So we're manipulating data. We're manipulating the public. I, in Inslee, the only people I hire are the addicted, those who are in the streets, those who are homeless. One got killed a few weeks ago, just 2 blocks away, and all he wanted to do was work. I can't hire him because my assets was erased. So we have to figure out how to,
30 seconds.
okay, we have to figure out how to create better spaces in our community. So if a business owner cannot restore their buildings, they cannot put new businesses in there. If they cannot put new businesses in there, they cannot put new jobs in there. If there are no new jobs, there's nobody to support the mother or the father or for the teenager. If there are no new jobs, then there's nothing going to the community. And I love what Kamal said about the multi-purpose centers. We need more multi-purpose centers. There's a lot that we need, but we must focus on crime prevention.
Mrs. Scales. Thank you. The question is, what are we going to do about it? So I want you to refer to this on the back. And first of all, you have to empower the police department to fight crime. We got out of the crime fighting business in Birmingham, and that's the reason why crime has gone up. We stopped fighting. In addition to that, we got to do a better job of recruiting and retaining the police that we have. I mean, again, we talked about earlier, benefits, pay. What are we doing in that area that's going to keep people working for Birmingham, in addition to the fact of recruitment? In addition to that, proactiveness. I have this on this, but I can talk a whole lot about youth programs that were defunded by this mayor and the city council. So I don't understand that either. Nevertheless, we're also looking at the fact that when it comes down to when you dial 911, we got to hire some folk to answer the phone. And then when they answer the phone, do they respond in a timely manner? So that means you need dispatchers and you need police working in concert to make you safe. In addition to that, we need to start arresting folk. And they talking about people going to jail. How do you pin 18 murders on one person and they continue to still get out? That means that you're not working with the criminal courts. We have got to strengthen our relationship with the district attorney's office. So we can't just keep talking about what's going to happen to get crime down. You got to put folks in jail. If they break the law, they need to go to jail. If they go to jail, they need to remain in jail. Well, how do you know that works? I'm at the county.
30 seconds.
The felons are going to the county, not the city. If you go to the city, that's petty theft. Those are misdemeanor crimes. But the way you're going to make people know that they're safe in this city, you got to have a long-term and a short-term goal. But committing crime in Birmingham has to be absolutely not.
Seconds.
That's the reason why we say, let's take back our city. Stop being afraid to live in your city.
Mr. Woodson.
I want to be completely honest about this. This mayor has no plan. Or am I satisfied with the plan? There is no plan. There is no plan for public safety when we can't patrol the whole sector of the city fully staffed. There is no plan for public safety when we don't have a plan for our children. You can't just arrest everybody and not shut down the hatcheries that are producing the alligators. We can't have a plan when the last 7 months we sent $10 million to Chicago, Detroit, all these other places across the country for people to come in and mentor our young men to help them deal with stuff. Let's stop playing. We can't have a plan for homelessness when we send $1.75 million to San Francisco. Don't they have a place down there called Skid Row? That is no plan and that is no commitment. In fact, there is no plan economic development. There's no plan for community development because we have a mayor that wasn't planning on being here this year. You all don't want to say it, but that's the truth. And our city is facing collapse. Everyone knows it. And we're avoiding conversations like this right here. because he understands we've run off everybody over 50 years old. We run them off. We have also, we lost the management. You demoralize your police department by telling professional officers that you work your way through the ranks, you put in your time, you have these command opportunities, and then you take your bodyguard and put him up top. Now listen.
Time. We'll come back to you, Mr. Woodson.
Thank you all for your answers and your clear responses. You know, as we continue on, you know, I'm sorry guys, can you hear me now? Okay. In previous forums, it became clear there's a clear disconnect and discontent between the neighborhood associations, longtime residents, and their elected officials, between City Hall, the City Council, and the Mayor's office. A lot of complaints that say that, you know, two groups are talking at each other, and things are not happening between each other. As mayor, how can you heal that disconnect between your neighborhood leaders and your officials at City Hall? So we'll start, Mr. Woodson.
I'm gonna talk straight. We either need to make the neighborhood association work, or we need to get rid of them. Because what we're doing, right now, the mayor doesn't have to listen to anybody, so that's part of the problem. If he's not gonna listen to the council because of the Mayor-Council Act, he darn sure isn't gonna listen to the neighborhood officer. In fact, Hunter Williams went to the black newspaper, came all the way across town and did an article talking about we're gonna get rid of, it's time to do something different with. If you read their participation program, they are supposed to be a voice, but that voice cannot be compromised either. If the mayor is not meeting with the Jefferson County delegation, not meeting with and informing the city council, we can't expect him to meet with the neighborhood associations. We can't expect him to meet with the businesses. We've lost touch. And what we've got to do is have a participative style of government. My sister said it's not I know that that's intoxicating, but we are weaker when we are individual. We've got to become a city that works for everybody. No matter what your zip code is, your voice matters. No matter what your position is, your voice matters. We have to have a city
30.
that works for everyone. And that does not happen with accountability. When we have officials that can walk past you and speak if they don't like you, get mad with you if you work with the other elected official to help our people, we have to stop this foolishness. Thank you.
Mr. Rice.
I do believe a lot of people believe in the neighborhood associations. I do believe they believe their power is, they have no power. I remember sitting in my building October 13, 2019. Mayor Whitman sitting directly in front of me, Josh Carpenter, Economic Development Director, sitting to my left, John Hilliard sitting to my right. We had a conversation about preservation in historic buildings. And I said, before you tear this building down, I just want you to go before the community. And then he said, why do I have to go before the community? And then he said, you don't have to go before the community on your building, Brian. And I said, well, you said, you're the mayor. And then I remember saying, our communities are struggling. And then he said, who is our? Yeah. Those are the statements that I remember. And that was the day that I realized I was not dealing with an honest man who was for us. That's when I realized it. And so I got a call recently from a former city councilor about Rugby Avenue. You probably figure out who it is. And they're talking about they put these barriers up for bike lanes. And then they say they went before the people, but then all the people on this street say that we didn't get anything. So it's like a disregard to the people. The people first are the staffers that he paid the highest salaries ever to.
30
But the people
seconds.
first is not the people in the communities. We must focus on our communities. My name is Brian K. Rice, the community engineer, because I love community. And I would never turn my back on community.
Mr. Scales.
Well, it sounds like your question was about neighborhood collaboration. So let me make it plainly. I was the neighborhood vice president of this neighborhood, where you're sitting in right now. And the bottom line is how you stay connected is don't run on 99 neighborhoods and then after the fact become disconnected from the folks who are who are the grassroots. Okay, and to be frankly honest, I could say more and I will keep my composure, but I'm going to say this. Speaking of elephants in the room, if the top seat or CEO of this city doesn't think that he needs to talk to neighborhood leaders, people who live in the neighborhood that make up the city, along with coming to forums, I mean, I'm just trying to figure out. Y'all have a decision to make. Because there is no elephant, there aren't any peanuts. We just need to do what we need to do. Because again, the development of this city is grassroots up, not top down. And the first thing, and Hart back there in the back, I think he was in the back, not trying to put you on the spot, but the first thing he came in there and did is wanted to defund neighborhood associations. So any neighborhood association person, I love you. I'm just trying to figure out why would you support someone who's not trying to support your neighborhood? We are struggling because at the end of the day, we don't want to recognize this is not working. That's why I keep telling you, let's take back your city. If it's not working, you the taxpayer, put the folks that's willing to do the work, and if they don't do the work, fire and hire what you
15
need.
seconds. Mr. Littleton. Mr. Littleton.
All right, so on the neighborhood association topic, they only have $2,000 to work with, right? That's not a lot of money. And it was at what, like 10,000 at one point? So I'm work with the city council and try to see if we can meet them halfway in the middle and give them 6,000 in my first year. And after that, we can raise it up some more. But I really love the neighborhood association. And I met with a lot of presidents, vice presidents, and I go around all the time talking to all of them, right? I'm making a commitment right here today, and I said this plenty of times before, but it's a new audience. The mayor makes currently like $130,000. I'm going to give out of my personal salary $99,000 away. I'm only going to sell $40,000 because I don't need all that $100,000. I don't need all that money. And what? Yeah, I'm not doing this for money. I'm not doing this for money, by the way, people. I'm doing this for the people. And so I'm planning on giving $1,000 to every neighborhood in Birmingham for the association for back to school, and they need to get back to school supplies, back to school drives, a fun day for the community. We need to support the neighborhood association because that's the backbone of the communities. They know more than the administration that we have right now. And they do a way better job with taking care of the people, but they're underfunded. We need to help support them and come to the meetings and so we can have them
30 seconds.
flourish.
One moment before we go to Ms. Cavan and then Mr. African. Marvin Young, I need you to move your vehicle. Marvin Young, move your vehicle. Thank you. Ms. Cavan.
Make it make sense, everybody. My mama taught me a long time ago, if a man loves you, he'll take care of you. Birmingham residents, you all are gonna have to answer this one question in a few weeks. Have you had someone to take care of you?
No.
Have you had someone that will clean your streets, that will at least acknowledge you, who will refuse to pay their staff and their employees, their key staff, should I say, nearly $200,000 $10,000 a year for 8 years, but then cut the neighborhood associations down from 10,000 to 2,000? Make it make sense. And we must stop allowing this one man who didn't even care enough about you all to even come and walk through the room, even if he had to leave to go and address some issues relative to crime. Make it make sense. We need a mayor who will reestablish our neighborhood associations. My plan is simple. It is called the Neighborhood Advisory Participation Program. We're going to make and allow our neighbors, our community leaders, our associations to be true stakeholders. On Fridays, if I am elected, we're gonna have real talk with the mayor. We're gonna open City Hall back up no differently than when Larry Langford was here, to allow you to come in and to have your issues addressed. And most importantly, we're gonna open up and provide better
30 seconds.
service from city employees who sit at these phones, who fail to answer and respond, and the days of nobody returning phone calls with a broken 311 system will end.
15
Make
seconds.
it make sense. Love is what love does. And on August 26th, you all must decide, have you had a mayor in 8 years to love you? The same mayor 8 years ago that said, if crime is high, blame me. The same mayor that said 8 years
Time.
ago that he only needed 2 terms, and now he's begging for a 3rd.
Time.
Make that make sense.
Mr. Ackerman.
Talking's real cheap. It's real cheap. I too, Scales, was a neighborhood president in East Thomas. And during that period of time, and I believe in community service. And I was elected unanimously. There was only one vote that went the opposite way. That was the guy that was the previous president. He got his own one vote. That was it. But when I say talk is cheap, you know, there's a reason that Arrington and the council recognized me many, many years ago for 25 years of outstanding community service. Committee for Prisoner Support back in 1984, and then again, I got the Mufandi Lake Humanitarian Award from the same group that was in March of 2020. Well, it's 39 years of working to help people that went in prison get their rights back. Hezekiah Jackson, y'all remember him? They recognized me, the NAACP, not 1, 2 years in a row, but 27 years of outstanding community service. Talk is cheap, y'all. Along with all of that, a guy named Mr. Matthews, who didn't necessarily like me that much, but he couldn't help it. He gave me an Outcast Activist Award back in 2016. And as East Thomas president, I said, I did a lot. The average in this city is 2.2, some crazy number to give, tearing down houses. In East Thomas,
30 seconds.
we tore down 13 shacks and shanties. We made sure that they would not allow sex predators in our community. You won't find them in East Thomas, nowhere. I walk
15
and I pick
seconds.
up trash on my street. I want your street to look clean like mine and be safe like mine. That's what I want residents all over Birmingham to have. Africa for Mayor, AFRIKAFOR mayor.com. Look at my lifestyle on mine.
Time.
Go to my About page and look at my
Time.
lifestyle. You'll see.
We have 2 more questions. One will come from josephbryanavail.com, and the other will wrap up with the question I was given to ask you as a moderator by the committees that are hosting you today. Mr. Joseph Bryan.
My final question, everybody. I missed the Birmingham Waterworks meeting to come to this forum today. But the news is, it's no longer called the Birmingham Waterworks, it's called Central Alabama Water. So Birmingham Waterworks no longer exists in the old form. Birmingham has 2 of the 7 seats now. So it is now a super minority on that board. We talked about the issues and concerns of the former Birmingham Waterworks Board and what happened, what didn't happen, what should have happened. As mayor, do you have a plan? Will you fight to get that, to repeal the legislation, or what would you do as mayor to address the current situation as the former Birmingham Waterworks Board? Mr. African.
Sadly, you all, and I have to say that Mr. Van and Ms. Gills are right about this. I don't know who else, but that bill could have been stopped. We got 3 senators down there. And I learned from Fred Horn. That bill, you didn't have to have a supermajority, as Mr. Van says, we are in a minority down here, there's not much we can get done. That bill could have been stopped by either of the 3 senators before it got to K.I.'s desk. It could have been killed. Hold them responsible. I'm not gonna call you their names, you know who they are. That bill, before K.I. signed it, had I been mayor, I would have called an emergency meeting. But remember this, back many years ago, I stood in the courthouse door, and I warned you, if William Bell transferred our assets, and he did, that we were gonna have corruption and a double bill. And that is what you got. Because you didn't listen, and so he's crazy standing in the courthouse door with a rifle. But I warned you. And now we have double building, and the sewer bill is bigger than the rest. I'll fight for you. I don't fight the same way anymore, but I use that ink pen. It's mightier than a sword. There's not much we can do right now about that water situation. Those assets have been taken from us, but we have other
30
assets,
seconds.
like Birmingham. We can do annexation to make this city #1 again. I would annex Forestdale, where Mr. Van lives. I would annex maybe Brighton for the industrial park.
15 seconds.
And so I just want you all to know, you got a thinker here and a fighter. And the NAACP and Aaron just said 27 years, 25 years. That's how long I've been, 40 years total in the community
Time.
doing things.
Mr. Woodson. Mr. Woodson.
I'm sorry, what's the question again?
We've gone over the issues of the Birmingham Water Works, the former Birmingham Water Works, the problems, what happened, what should have happened. As mayor, will you fight to regain that asset?
One of the most important things that I saw, I'd look at things that weren't looked at. You go back to what the original agreement was. So I always study policy. When I found out that kids had up until the age of 21 to complete their high school diploma, we brought the dropout recovery program back in. I go back to the beginning of policy. What I want to know that I would begin, put together a team, and this is what we would look at. What was the original agreement and intention? And if a condition of the transfer of the Waterworks Board was that we would have X number of board members in order for that transfer to be legally put over and sold, I would want to look at that and see whether or not it was okay for that condition of the number of board members that were required for the sale. If it was broken, is that legal to do? That's where you go back to, in my opinion. I would have scholars look at that. I'd have our lawyers look at that. We'd have to have a law department to look at that for what was the original agreement, and if that sale was contingent upon, I haven't read the sale, but if it was contingent upon this matter right here, then it seems to me like that would force sell it back or meet the conditions of the term. Thank you.
30 seconds, thank you. Ms. Gavan.
I will do as the people ask me to do. The Birmingham Waterworks Board has been, I don't want to say demolished, but it has been renamed, it has been reorganized as a Central Alabama Waterworks Board, and it's very unfortunate. In this moment, I'm going to refuse to allow the current mayor to take up any more space in my head rent free. The bottom line is that asset is gone. I heard someone up here talk about annexation. Well, let me tell you why the Birmingham Waterworks Board was so important. Because that was the most valued asset that the city of Birmingham had and has ever had. Wow. That is why they were able to annex 280. areas along Spain Park because they controlled the water. They didn't take the Indian land because of the land. They took the Indians' land because of the water and the minerals that ran between. Birmingham losing that asset is a almost near death blow. The realization is we now need to figure out how do we get some more valuable assets, and how do we do that to grow this city? How do we bring people in? How do we come up with a formula that we will be able to annex more land that will bear more people? So with that being said, Article 11, of the Alabama State Code
30 seconds.
speaks to the power of the legislature to take the water system. It's public. We never had to lose it because, and I'm closing, just a few years ago, when the call was made to the CEO of the Water Works Board to go under the Public Service Commission, had
15
they
seconds.
only did that, we would have our water. Because the state cannot take away something that is private. Make it make sense, everybody. We need someone to stay woke and to wake up. At the end of the day, I will fight the
Time.
fight and keep continuing to fight the good fight. Thank you.
Brian K. Rice.
When I think about the Birmingham Waterworks Board and what happened, I think that we are too compromised to lead. I think our leaders are too compromised to lead. I'm thankful for Mary Moore and Representative Gavan, who had a town hall, and they allowed me to, sit there in that room in the Nation of Islam building, the mosque, and get to hear the details. One thing they said was the Birmingham lobbyists that Woodfin selected is the same lobbyist for the Waterworks Board, the same lobbyist for Jefferson County. But Birmingham loses, so that lets me know you do. And you don't get rid of the lobbyists after you lose a multi-billion-dollar asset. So that lets me know you knew. And the public must know that something is wrong. Today, right before I came here, I released a second thing on my page, bkrice.com. It's called Accountability and Ethics. You will see the city attorney involved in deals involving her husband in real estate sales. You will see deals in House Atlanta, House Proud Atlanta. You will see the Crossplex. You will see deals that they've been turning a blind eye to over and over and over. If you are too compromised, you cannot negotiate these deals. They only can take advantage of you. That means they're taking advantage of the citizens. We must reset City Hall, and we must make sure that City
30
Council
seconds.
has their own attorney as well. Once again, day one, I'm going to grant permission to the City Council to start reviewing this Mayor Council Act. But then also, they need their own attorney.
15
The executive
seconds.
branch attorney should not be the only attorney for City Hall for a $591 million budget. We needed two eyes, two types of lawyers looking at this thing. So thank you for my time.
Mr. Middleton.
I'm gonna just pick up what Mr. Rice left off on, and he was talking about the corruption. That's what I mentioned earlier. That's why I'm gonna keep using the word in front of the public right here. It's a lot of backdoor deals that's going on. We need, like you just said, that's what I was saying earlier when in the beginning. Now y'all starting to hear the same thing over and over. It's repetitive. It's a lot of corruption going on in the City Hall, and they know what's going on, but it's all about money, guys. And like I said, that's why I told you I'm trying to get my money away. I'm trying to give as much money back to the people as possible legally with programs, modernization and revitalization in neighborhoods. Because right now the waterworks gone. We can't spend taxpaying dollars to try to get that back because it's in the wrong hands now. So and those people gonna fight for it for real. And the stunt already been pulled. We already lost it. So if you elect me as mayor, we're gonna focus on moving forward and keeping the rest of our remaining assets that we have, little that we do have, because they coming out of Birmingham, the airport next. But we have to stand firm and elect somebody new, and we need a new change in leadership right now, because we're doing the same old thing that's not working, and we just watching the city get sold off. And there's a lot of people people leaving, people dying. And people, it's getting sold off. And when I say I want to free the people, it's people that's in the city hall that want to speak up against these things, but they won't because it's about the money. They created families and a lifestyle off this money. So they're going to protect the money. So that's why our current mayor, who said he believed in term limits and only running for 8 years, running for a third term. They trying to protect the money.
Thank you, Mr. Littlepage. Mrs. Scales.
So let me just say this. First of all, that's why you have a law department that fights lawmakers. I heard about policy. Well, let's go back to 2016 Mayor Council Act. That's when your water, in terms of your votes, got sold out. Okay? I don't want to say it the way I know it is, because I'm not here other than this mayor. I'm going to say it. This mayor needs to be given an account for his record, but I can tell you that Mayor Council Act was changed by some folks in the legislature that knows what's going on. And with that having said, a part of that was the expansion of that water board. Wow. We went from 5 to 9. Right. And then you divided up the votes with William Bell getting 2 of the votes and the council getting 4. And then you know what happened? Those other 3 counties were involved or incorporated in it. And some of the legislators said, oh, well, we need to do it for clarity. No, you did it because William Bell told you to do it. And you passed it through the legislature, even though you held a public hearing that some of us in this room know about, and you still proceeded to go forward. Then they took that expansion and turned around and used it against us to now take over the water. So if we want to talk about the truth of a policy, that's it. But Scales, what will you do about it? Litigate it. You can't borrow money off a water system that you still don't own. You have controlling votes, but you don't own. So when you go to try to borrow money, we call it bonds, we will litigate it in such a way, we'll tie it up in court, you won't get a dime off of it unless you come back to the city to renegotiate what you took from us.
This is your last question. This is the candidate's last question of the night. What is the biggest issue in your opinion? And from anybody else's opinion, if you wish to express that. What is the biggest issue of Birmingham at this time? What do you do to fix it? And who put it in that situation, in your opinion? Did it start earlier? Did it start in the 60s? Did it start currently? Is it an ongoing? However you wish to address that in your answer. What is the biggest issue of Birmingham at this time, and what do you do to fix it? What is your plan to fix it? I want to start out with Mr. Littlepage.
You said, what's the biggest issue to me right now that's currently in the city?
Yes, sir.
When I started my campaign in January, and they did an article on the interview with me, and my article came out, a lot of people started reaching out to me, and a lot of powerful people. And I had to learn this because I didn't know who was who in the beginning. And so what happened was, it's a lot of systems going on, and this stuff strategically planned, right? They're going in the city, like from the crime to the closing of the libraries to the closing of the rec centers. It's like traps that they put us in. And they came to me and they was trying to see about endorsements, and they wanted me to go along with certain agendas. And I didn't agree with it. And so now I'm like, I can't get an article or an interview anywhere. And so that's why I speak the way I speak. But what I realized, it's a lot of people that don't live in the city of Birmingham controlling Birmingham. And the biggest issue is that, to me. It's the biggest issue of selling out. It's a lot of people who have been in office over 15 years, 20 years, 10 years, and they don't have integrity or morals and principles. So my biggest issue is we have to rebuild trust in the people. We have to create a brand new city hall, because right now a lot of people going along with the program, and that's why our city is being ran how it is right now. Because we could eat. Right now, we're solving crime right now, like I said before, and people disagree with me sometimes. We could have been doing this, but it's election season. And we have to keep that person in there so we can protect the money. Because that's the only person, in my opinion, because none of these candidates, I talk to them all the time, they're not going for what the
15
current mayor
seconds.
going for. And definitely not me. And so that's all I had to say.
Mr. Africa.
Ms. Smoot, there's no one issue, it's a multiplicity of issues. And those issues deal with, we have to have a stable housing market that is growing. And in order to have that, you gotta have people that are buying houses. So that means we must address the minimum wage issue. People just barely able to pay their bills and live. And so building a city means that you have to increase the minimum wage, you have to get people educated, they gotta be skilled, and you have to have public safety. Technology is the best way to deal with this crime issue. The police do have a new toy that they can use in their car, and it's a scanner that tells them whether or not you have insurance, whether you want it, whether you have a license. It's a scanner. It goes a block in front, a block in the back, and a half a block on the side. I know because I got caught in it 4 times. I was only, I just didn't get my license in time. But anyway, so it's a multiplicity of things. You have to have all of these things at once. No one thing will solve it. I'm a victim of not having a place to go and work out. And at my age, I have to in order to stay alive. But it's sad that I have to
30
go all the
seconds.
way to Bessemer to do it, or to Hoover, or to Homewood. Make no mistake about it. I'm gonna finish what Mr. Langford tried to do, and I'm gonna do it honestly, and I will listen to people. Africa for
15
Mayor,
seconds.
AfricaForMayor.com. Look at my lifestyle, look at my 40-year history. There will be no doubt as to who you should choose for mayor. All these people up here are some good folks. They got good ideas, but they don't have a 40-year history
Time.
of getting something done. Thank you.
Mr. Rice.
Economics is the biggest issue in this country. Think about economics, it links to everything. It links to the jobless, it links to, that guy that just got killed a few weeks ago with me. It links to everything. It links to workforce development. It links to why downtown is being developed and why other areas are not being developed. We have to think about economics. One thing I would say when you asked a question about where do you think it started, I think with Mayor David Van and Mayor Richard Arrington, they did a great job with the annexation plan. And that was focused on commercial development, focused on creating economies out of these commercial centers, out of these industrial areas. But for some strange reason, we're not focusing on these industrial areas or commercial areas. We got places like downtown Inslee, which probably supported 25% of a city at one point in time. We got Wyland, we got North Birmingham, we got the West Side, we got road. There's so many places where there's no development. So once again, there's no development. There are no businesses, or very few. There's very few jobs. There's very limited resources in our communities. So we have to think about poverty. Think about business. Birmingham was ranked last for black business ownership rate in 1982, 1987, and 2018. So we have not changed that. So from the African American point of view,
30 seconds.
our leaders have not helped us develop our communities. And when it comes to programs like Sloss Furnish and our venues, we have to create endowments. Everything comes to economics.
Mr. Woodson.
I have no doubt that the biggest challenge facing Birmingham right now is leadership. Word of God's clear. When the righteous rule, the people rejoice, but when the wicked rule, the people mourn. And Birmingham's been mourning for a long time. Our children are in shock, PTSD. UAB did a study a few years ago. I don't know if this goes every year. They won't report the numbers, but that trauma center said for every one person that died, 8 were wounded. Birmingham is not safer. Violent crimes are going up. We need to lead people again that will care about the poor and the hurting, that will have a plan for the homeless, where we empower the people that are local to take care of them. We could have taken the 1.75 million we sent to San Francisco with some guys that had effery on their hats and empowered our folks to help. We've got 32,000 seniors that are trapped in their houses.